All right, today I am continuing the series of not just Warlord and Victrix. This is a series where I will highlight perhaps smaller or perhaps lesser known manufacturers of miniatures and show off some of the great work that they do. Today we're going to be talking about Gorgon miniatures, and Gorgon has a really special place for me as they're one of the first manufacturers of historical miniatures I ever knew of and I ever purchased from. So this little guy right here, I received as an Adepticon free miniature forever ago. I think this might have been 2009, perhaps 2010. And I stopped by their booth and just thought, wow, there's a lot of really cool stuff in historicals. This went into for years, this guy was riding a chariot and was part of my Celt army. This was painted by a really talented guy, a friend named Brian Johnson. I did a little work to touch him up and add a little bit of a highlight, and I rebased him so that I could use him for other games a little more easily. But it's just really great character with a lot of detail. And if I remember correctly, I think it's a Steve Sala miniature. I really should have looked that up before the video, but it is what it is. We're going now, can't stop. All right, so this guy, awesome, Celt Druid, really like him. Something that I got a little more recently is a Celt Warlord, following the theme. If you notice, his proportions is a little tiny bit more bulky, but still relatively realistic proportions. He's a Celt, or a Gaul, so I had to get in some of those stripes that I really love doing. And another chance to just have a really colorful model. I went for a really simple type of plaid on the back. I guess it's not quite plaid, it's stripes and lines, but it was fun and easy to do. I used a micro pen for all of that over some contrast paint. This guy I use as a generic hero or commander model. In To the Strongest, he is an expendable hero, and in some other games, he's a commander of a whole division. Continuing on with the hero models, I use this. I think this is meant to be a either Italiote or Syracuse Warlord, and I use him as kind of a Western Hellenic, so think Sicily or Italian mainland, a Western Hellenic hero or commander model. He was really fun to do. I really love these one-piece metal models for you can just throw them into a batch. You didn't put any extra effort into getting them ready to go, and you can just paint them while you're painting whatever else you happen to be painting. Again, I threw a stripe in the bottom. In this case, I think I was actually finishing up some elephant riders, and I thought, hey, I can use this guy for something. Who knows what, but he'll be fun to do. He's got that that cool Corinthian helmet, tipped back. And, you know, it was also a chance to, since he's Western Hellenic, I went with a different linen of thorax, kind of a leathery look, and a couple different colors for him. All right. A few others here, and they keep getting better. These are Spartan Command models. I have two more that I haven't painted yet. But these are the first ones I did, and this is actually meant to be, I'm gonna forget his name. I forget everything when I'm doing these videos, but I think it's Cleomenes. Could be mistaken, but I believe he was a Spartan mercenary style leader who had a small excursion into southern Italy. And led some Greeks and southern Italians against some of the Oscan peoples. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, but I believe I've got that remembered correctly. So what I use him for is a commander model or as a token in the Kings of War game. So he's a commander in To the Strongest, and in Kings of War, he's an indomitable will token that goes along with some of the foot troops. Comes with this great piper. I'm forgetting the traditional name for the Spartan kind of double flute, but man, these guys were great. one-piece models. Again, you just kind of throw them into a batch of other stuff you're painting, just no fuss, get them going. I finished these up while I was doing just the last highlights on some of my pikemen, and I'm really glad I did. Another unit, follow the Spartan theme. I ordered these from the another YouTuber named Carthus Must Be Destroyed. Really nice guy, and I picked up a nice chunk of his collection from eBay, and this was amongst the collection. So I spent a little extra time, not too much, but a little extra time on a couple of these tunics and added a cloth pattern. That was the first time I had done that. Now I do that as a mainstay for a lot of my models, and I just love these sculpts. They're older. I think they're a little more than 10 years, and if you take a look at them, you see that they kind of bridge the gap between the chunkier style of some of the older manufacturers and the more realistic style of some newer manufacturers like Agama or Relic, and they're just really cool. And since they're Spartan, they have these big bushy beards. I use them as Rhodian slingers. I might be mistaken, but I believe Rhodians were Dorians, Spartans are Dorians, and I thought, hey, why can't they look a little similar? You know, Rhodian slingers feature so often in the armies. I had to have something representing them, and this is them for me. I plan to do another small unit of them. I need to get 2 more slingers. They come in packs of 4, which is a little inconvenient when you need 10 for games. So I'm just going to find 2 slingers somewhere, who knows where. I'm going to cheat a little. This next one's not Gorgon. This is by Lucid Eye, and I think they have a subcategory maybe called Ziggurat that this comes from. So Lucid Eye have their newer manufacturer. They've got some pretty cool people working with them, making games and miniatures. Think like people from the the early Games Workshop days and mid Games Workshop days. Pretty cool stuff. Anyways, this is Perseus. I use him in my fantasy style games like Kings of War. And in Kings of War, he is a flying, because he's got his boots from Hermes, a flying hero slayer. Obviously, if he's able to kill Medusa, he's able to slay some heroes. So he's in particular typically a shade for me, or a flying assassin. Just such high detail on this model. Let's see if I can get another view of him. Oh yeah, so extremely high detail. Like, look at that hair, it's really great. I have another miniature that's built on the same chassis, only he's more of an Alexander type, or I think he's an Apollo type looking guy that you can use for historicals, because they took all the fantasy elements out, but I haven't painted him yet. So that's from Lucid Eye. Now back to the topic of Gorgon. Last Gorgon miniature I have to show today. So this back here, not so Gorgon. This is a just one of those cheap pewter Russian 54mm manufacturers. They do a ton of different 54mm stuff. I've ordered a few things from them. It's pretty cool. You can find them all over eBay. They're mostly no-name items. Down here, remember, not just Warlord. That is Warlord. That is a Warlord auger killing a sacrificial ram there, and I used some blood effect and a little pan. I was pretty happy with that, how that came out. Some shields from Victrix in the back at this Shrine of Athena. And then this guy right here, I had to get him. That is Claudius, and it's really Claudius from the iconic Claudius series. As soon as I saw that, after I had seen the series, I immediately recognized it. I was like, oh, yes, I want that guy. No idea what I'll use him for, but I want that guy. He is not a very Greek-looking augur in this particular vignette, but I think he fits in decently enough. You know, again, a lot of my stuff is successors, so perhaps he's Western Hellenic, and that's why he looks like he's got a little more of a Latin influence to him. But really cool, characterful miniature. I have a few other things by Gorgon that I'm working on. They're on my painting table, including a headless Hessian who's going to go with my AWI forces. Because again, a lot of times when I have my historicals, I like to have a few models with a more fantasy or sci-fi theme, so I can use it for some of the other games I also play. All right, well, that's it for today for my highlighted Gorgon miniatures. Check them out. I'm going to be buying some more of their stuff in the coming weeks and months, and hope to have a few more units from them. All right, thanks. Have a great week. Bye.